Minister of Justice, Edward Grts, Saturday evening presided over the closing ceremony of the 50th Ordinary Session of the African Commission of Human and People's Rights. The convergence of right defenders and advocates from across the continent and beyond looked at the human rights situation in Africa and means of overcoming challenges. We hope to bring you that report by Ibrahim Balde in our 10 o'clock news bulletin. The APRC branch in the Kanifing municipality has made a contribution of over $110,000 towards the party leader's nomination fee. The money was handed over to the ruling party's national mobilizer at the APRC bureau in Kanifing. We have more in this report by Samuel Ba.
As the president, the opposition and the incumbent have been engaged in a series of activities to remind their supporters of the task ahead. In the wake of the forthcoming presidential elections, the APRC wing of the Kanifing municipality deemed it fitting to make some personal contributions towards the nomination of President Jammeh.
The whole objective is to show their solidarity to the president and to show to the whole country that KM is ready for the coming election 2011, come 24th, that KMC will come in a big way for the president. That's the objective behind it. So this is why I equally tax them to say if you contribute at least 111,000, knowing fully well that KM is having about 187,000 votes plus, we would definitely need at least to give to the president 111,000 votes.
This is a forum that brought together senior government officials, National Assembly members, Yai Compins, Alcalos, and other APRC bigwigs to present an amount of $11,000 as being personal contribution by members of the KMC APRC wing. The ceremony also served as a platform for members who are mostly influential in the party to assess their level of preparedness within the various wards of the municipality. The majority leader and National Assembly member for Serekunda Isfa Bakari Tombong Jata is hopeful that with what he has seen, the ground is level for the much anticipated event. The National Youth Mobilizer Babuge Sonko and Ajande Jata called on all members to respond massively on nomination day, which would be led by the youths. For the Minister of Youth and Sports, Sheriff Gomez, the Delon Jukal initiative is a very noble and worthy cause. He added that the symbolic nature of the event also emanates from the fact that the party's national mobilizer hails from the region, thereby justifying the reasons why the KMC should take a lead role in APRC political activities. Several speakers also took turns to speak on the much anticipated victory for the ruling party, adding that winning is a foregone conclusion. However, what they are working on is the victory margin. The event culminated in the presentation of the donated 11,000 nomination fee by Honorable Hadinde Nyang Jang to the Mayor of the KMC for eventual handing over to the Vice President on behalf of the APRC flag bearer. Samuel Ba, GRTS.
You can also follow that story and other GRTS programs live on our website at www.grts.gm. There you can also monitor GRTS Radio Live. From there, take our first break. We'll be right back.
SIM card nafa warlim ba
ada sono yata baake
walang afisel la ñing extreme SIM card
ila afisel extreme SIM card sang sae
ha dalstan
afisel ya kele koteke ese SIM card kuto sang dala sitandam ma
walang afisel la ñing extreme SIM card de mu yalanko dalstan ani lulu credit ko le ba kono
dala sitanjo ye tanni lulu soto isa soto no dula belto
SIM card kuto mu yalanko dalstan ani lulu credit ko le ba kono ndon aka wafi dalstan damal la afisel damal la sinyi nati no ali.
Welcome back. Eid al-Adha, also known as the Feast of Sacrifice, is one of the most important holidays on the Islamic calendar, commemorating Prophet Ibrahim's willingness to sacrifice his son for God. Eid al-Adha comes at a time when popular uprisings have swept away or challenged many of the old tyrannies in the Arab world. In post-Gaddafi's Libya, for example, many people are living in freedom, and freedom others are struggling for. The families of freedom fighters who lost sons and fathers toppling the Gaddafi regime knew this would be a somber Eid al-Adha, but it's being even harder by poverty. It's been months since many families have seen any income. This report takes a look at the plight of revolutionary fighters on the eve of the feast.
Tripoli hotel where government officials stay. They tell us their commander promised them money to celebrate Eid, but they have not gotten that. They say they left their jobs to fight and now feel forgotten.
All these guys behind me, they got families. They haven't received any sort of support. No emotional support or financial support. We've seen the American soldiers when they came back from Afghanistan or Iraq, they received emotional support.
Eid with freedom came with the ultimate cost for 37-year-old Ali Aoun.
Two of my brothers were killed on the 26th of August. Both of them. They have children. They got children, 6 children. No one looks for them. Age between 3 and 7. Who looks after them?
Many of these men are demanding action by their yet-to-be-formed government. Revolt against this government, like we revolted against Gaddafi. We will rise up against anyone with his policies, promises in talk but no action, this fighter tells us. Libya's new acting prime minister said last week the fighters have not and will not be forgotten. Officials do acknowledge the long list of challenges ahead, but ask for time. But for these heavily armed men, patience is running out.
If this is not going to be sorted as soon as possible, it's going to be a nightmare. Trust me.
A threat this country's fragile stability cannot afford.
Those guys are very angry. Very angry. Not just angry. If they don't receive whatever support they need, financial and emotional support, we cannot guarantee them to be maintained peaceful.
The war in Libya might be.
The rebel leader of the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia, or FARC, is dead, as earlier reported. The Colombian government released a photo of Alfonso Cano's body as evidence of his killing. This report by CNN's Rafael Romo contains gory images, so viewer discretion is required.
This is how many Colombians remember Alfonso Cano, a bearded and bespectacled leader of the Marxist guerrilla group known as FARC, dressed in green uniform and hiding in the jungle. But this is what he looked like after being killed in a raid Friday by security forces in Cauca, a Colombian southwestern province.
El triunfo del Dr. Juan Manuel Santos.
For the last 3 years, Cano, whose real name was Guillermo León Sáenz, was the leader of the terrorist organization after the death of former leader Manuel Marulanda in 2008.
Es el golpe más contundente.
Colombian President Juan Manuel Santos called Cano's death the most overwhelming blow given to the FARC in all of Colombia's history. Santos also said Cano's death is a warning to other guerrilla groups.
I want to send a message to every member of this organization, FARC. Demobilize, because otherwise, as we have said so many times and as we have seen, you'll end up in jail or in a grave.
Colombian Defense Minister Juan Carlos Pinzón called Cano an ideologue and a despised terrorist who inflicted much harm and pain to Colombians during the 33 years he was involved with the guerrilla organization.
La muerte de alias Alfonso Cano.
The death of Alfonso Cano is the most important historical mark of our military forces and our national police in our fight against the FARC organization. Besides being the commandant of this organization, he was indeed their principal figure and precisely responsible for the death of many Colombians.
Pinzón said Cano was killed in a firefight after fleeing a bombing raid. 4 other guerrillas also died in the operation and 5 were captured. The FARC has been at war with the Colombian government for 5 decades. The Marxist guerrilla group has suffered major blows in recent years, including the death of another major leader known as Mono Jojoy last year in September. But it has shown that it's still capable of carrying out kidnappings and attacks against the Colombian police and military. Rafael Romo, CNN Atlanta.
We now take a second break. Welcome back. It is exactly 25 years today since Sir Alex Ferguson took charge of English Premier League champions Manchester United. United honored by the occasion by renaming the North Stand